Well, as we expected, the Toronto Raptors go into the game today and get the job done after the last two tough ones. The one against Oklahoma City at Scotiabank Arena, the tough officiating mixed with just a whole bunch of mumbo-jumbo. And then the last-second garbage shot from half-court from Jeremy Lamb against the Hornets on Sunday. The Raptors welcome in the Chicago Bulls to Scotiabank Arena tonight, and I didn't care what the heck they were going to throw at us. This was going to be a win. And the fact that Zach LaVine did not play, no Chris Dunn, no Otto Porter Jr., I mean, it's a guaranteed victory. The Raptors do win 112-103 over the Chicago Bulls, but this game was a scary one for the fact I did not want to see an injury, because this is a meaningless game, and this is the last thing you want to do, seeing an injury happen at the meaningless of times. And late in the game, OG Anunoby gets hit. It was a collision, and it did not look too good. And he gets up, and he's woozy. They have to kind of, like, hold him as he's walking off. And you could tell from the way he was like, whoa, like, one like this and all that. And he kind of stumbled a little. It looks like a concussion. And guys, don't stand here and say, well, OG's terrible anyways. Stop. Yeah, he's having a tough season offensively. You know what that guy can give you on the defensive end. And we don't need to see an injury right now. This is only the second game back. You know, this is the first time this season in 2 straight games we've had an entire lineup. And if OG goes down, that's it. You got the win. That's great. You win what? You win the game. You were minus, what is that? -6 in the second half. But Kawhi Leonard, Kyle Lowry, Danny Green, nobody played. Holy smokes. Look at the minutes in this game. The most minutes played were by Powell and Fred VanVleet. By the way, Norman Powell had an immensely good game, and that builds off of that fantastic game against the Charlotte Hornets on Sunday. In 26 minutes, Norman Powell fired up 20 points on 8 of 10 shooting, 4 of 5 from 3, and yeah, he was a -5 on the floor, but man, he was good. He was powerful on the offensive end. He gave you some good defense. I loved what we saw from Norman Powell today. Serge Ibaka, 16 points, 8 boards on 7 of 13 shooting in 23 minutes. Great job there. Kawhi Leonard with 14. Siakam with 13. Again, Kawhi Leonard played 22 minutes. Siakam with 21. Gasol played 20. Lowry with 21 minutes. He had 14 points and 6 assists. Did Kyle Lowry in only 21 minutes. Danny Green only played 15. That's nice to see. And going down the stretch of the year, I mean, these games are kind of meaningless at this point, right? You're seated in the second position in the Eastern Conference. You're probably not going to catch first. So we're just kind of in that spot where we're like, we know where we're going to sit. So let's just finish the season. And you want to stay healthy. You want to limit some minutes, gives guys some rest when they need to. Like tonight, the starter who played the most minutes was Kawhi Leonard with only 22. And you still win the game by 9, and you get the job done. Your bench has 3 guys in double figures. OG Anunoby had 10 points on 3 of 4 shooting in 25 minutes, but then leaves the game with that, it looked like a concussion, and why can't they just catch a break here? I mean, my goodness, it's crazy. Now, the Raptors do get the job done. They shoot 49% from the field, 43% from 3, and we talked about it briefly in the last video. Since the Marc Gasol trade, the Raptors have done an amazing job shooting the 3. Could that be because of the ball movement? I would say so. It's a big factor. And they're making their wide open shots. And you know why we love this so much? They're doing it at the right time of the year. Right down the stretch heading into the playoffs. The Raptors shot, like I said, 43% from 3 in the game today. 16 of 16 from the free throw line. You only give up the 7 offensive rebounds in the game. Again, turnovers, the Raptors had 15, but a lot of those were late in the game. Or I wouldn't say a lot. Like, at least like 4 or 5 were in the final quarter where you don't see your starters, and it was kind of like a garbage time, right? Just to kind of hang on to the lead and win. And they got the job done. Now, 15 turnovers is still a little bit much, but considering what we've seen over the last little while, it's not as bad as it seems, right? But against better teams, you can't give up that many turnovers, right? The Raptors do get 28 assists in the game. They get 13 steals, 7 blocks. you know what, they overall just dominated the game. There was really never any sort of, I guess, nervous moments for the Toronto Raptors. I mean, at one point, maybe they could the Bulls cut the lead to 10. But other than that, there really wasn't any sort of, oh God, we can lose this game, right? Now, the next couple of games for the Raptors are wins. I don't care what the heck the score is, you better win the game. You face New York in New York on Thursday night, March 28th at 7:30 tip-off there at MSG. Then Saturday, you play these same Chicago Bulls in Chicago at 8 o'clock. Again, a must-win game. And then down the stretch, it's going to be really interesting to see how the Raptors do in the final few games of the year. The reason I say that, quite a few of the teams you face are teams that are jockeying, whatever the word is, that are jockeying for playoff spots and positioning in the playoffs, right? After those 2 games against the Knicks and Chicago, you're home for Orlando, and that team's making a huge surge here, looking to push themselves into that 8th seed. Then you play Brooklyn, who's right now in the 7th spot, but they can move it to 6th, and heck, they can even drop to 8th, or even out of a playoff spot, if they have a tough end of the season. Then you have Charlotte, who's kind of on the outside looking in, but has played some great basketball lately. I think they won again tonight, didn't they? Or no, they beat the Raptors, but they've won 4 straight games. Yeah, they're 5 games under 500, but it's not over yet. They're right into it. Then you have Miami at home. Miami is a team in the 8th seed right now. Those teams are all fighting for their playoff lives. Meanwhile, the Raptors are sitting up in the 2nd seed, just like, well, we're ready to go. So those teams are going to be fighting hard. How are the Raptors going to respond to that? How are they going to play against those teams in those desperate times? It's going to be really interesting to see those 3 teams. And then you have Minnesota to end the year in Minnesota, a team that's out of the playoffs and I think mathematically eliminated from the postseason contention. So really a weird game to end the year in Minnesota. It's probably going to be empty as well. It's going to be a really weird one there in Minnie to end the season. But guys, you know what? You can't look forward to all those games. I just wanted to preview it a little bit. You focus on the next one. On to the next game. 1 game at a time, people. We're almost at the playoffs. Just hang in there for dear life. But the next game for the Raptors, guys, is on Thursday. They head to New York to take on the Knicks. Again, a must-needed win and just a must-win, period. You lose that game, it's an embarrassment. The New York Knicks have won 14 games all year long. Period. You can't lose that. You just can't. I don't care if it's in MSG or not. You're winning that game. Kawhi Leonard, guys, I'm shocked he's played 4 straight games, especially the minutes he's played in the first 3. And this is the first time he's played 4 in a row since the beginning of February. So everyone moaning and groaning about load management, they're loading him up right at the very end of the season. Now, I don't know why. I mean, ideally he only played 22 minutes today, which is technically a load management in itself. But to see him out there every game, you want to see the chemistry continue to grow, right? I mean, it's going to take time. We've heard the reports about Josh Lewenberg, I think his name is, sort of saying that the Raptors are confident they're going to sign Kawhi Leonard. That's great that the Raptors are confident. We don't know what the heck Kawhi Leonard's thinking, though. So we don't know any of that spiel. It's great to hear that kind of positivity, though. But try not to let it get to your head. Remember, this is the season you want. This is the season the Raptors should do it or can do it. All right? 1 game at a time, guys. Thursday in New York. Again, it wouldn't surprise me if Kawhi Leonard sits that game out. But then again, I wasn't going to be surprised if he sat out today's game. But I think now that your rotation is healthy, I think that Nick Nurse wants to get these guys out there as much as possible. So, again, it wouldn't surprise me if he sits, but it wouldn't surprise me if he plays. But anyways, guys, you know what? That is going to do it for this one. You guys enjoyed the video, and you guys enjoyed the victory there today. Smack that like button. I do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below what you think in game, the video, the team's play. Who's your MVP from today's game? Mine is Norman Powell. I thought he was great in all aspects. I think he did, obviously 20 points off the bench in 26 minutes at 8 of 10 shooting, of 4 of 5 from 3. The top scorer for the Toronto Raptors in the game today in Norman Powell. He's my player of the game in this one. Who's yours? Let me know in the comments below. And Evan and I will talk to you guys podcast edition. It'll probably be Thursday afternoon. Link is in the description for the podcast channel, guys, and for the podcast itself on iTunes. Twitter is also down below. Follow up, send me a DM, do all that great stuff, and I will talk to you guys Jays edition tomorrow for the season preview before first pitch on Thursday. So after the podcast, it'll probably be a few hours after the podcast is uploaded. It'll be first pitch, Blue Jays, Tigers, game 1 of the regular season. The 2019 season for the Jays is just about underway. The Montreal series is coming to a close. Actually, the game just finished tonight. The Jays won that game 2-0. So they end the spring on a winning note. They get a shutout. They get a couple runs. And now here we go. Game 1 of 162, guys. 3:37 first pitch there. It'll probably be at 4 o'clock because of all the introductions and everything. But on Thursday afternoon, I'll be talking to you guys Jays edition. Well, I guess tomorrow, Jays edition. First game is on Thursday. And as for the Toronto Maple Leafs, guys, they play tomorrow night as they head to Philly. Taking on the Flyers, 7 p.m. puck drop there in Philly. A team that is hanging on for dear life to their playoff spot. I don't even know where the heck they are. Let me have a look here. Because they're going to, where are they? They're 8 points out, so it's going to be a really tough stretch to see if Philly can get going. But again, they're hanging on for dear life, and they want to get points. The Leafs want to spoil that. You want to see a good start from Freddie, and you want to see the offense come through. And more or less, you want to see a victory down the stretch, all right? So I'll talk to you guys Leafs edition tomorrow night in Philly. Anderson, Carter Hart, the expected starter, 7 o'clock puck drop in Philly. And as for the Raptors, guys, like we said, they play Thursday in New York, taking on the Knicks, 7:30 tip-off at MSG. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you guys then.